Surfer versus Green Lantern. In the book, Surfer wins. Do we agree, disagree? Anybody want to argue, debate?
I think I would agree, because I think at that time Kyle wasn't all that familiar with all of his powers at that point, because he's only been in jail for a couple of years. So I would have definitely given it to Silver Surfer.
Yeah, I would have too.
Agree. It was just like you said. It was too. They didn't they didn't explain much to it. Like you said, they just kind of ran into each other and poop. Knocked Kyle out. He's just got a glass jaw, I guess. I don't know.
Well, here's a question. Is that a good matchup? Was there somebody else? What is Silver Surfer maybe too high of a level, or were they just thinking the Emerald Ring, the powers?
Well, I mean, there was that series before the DC Marvel, so I'm guessing that's why they chose him. I'm not sure what else would.
Like, where's Quasar? Quasar could have been an interesting matchup for Green Lantern.
Even what, Nova would have been better for Green Lantern in my mind too.
Right, because they were both members of corps.
On Twitter, we got 111 votes for that in our poll. By the way, and it'll still be going on. Silver Surfer won by 60%. All right, let's go to Captain Marvel versus Thor. And in the book, Thor wins.
That made sense to me.
Yeah, I would
I
tend
was
to agree
certainly
with that.
rooting for Captain Marvel, but I mean, between a kid who can channel the powers of a handful of gods and a person who is a god, especially when the kid's magic powers are conferred by lightning and the god controls said lightning.
Yeah. Even in the book, once they figured that out, I'm like, nah.
And in that case, Storm could have beaten Captain Marvel. Yeah.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
I feel less confident about that. Yeah. And I really like the scene where both Thor and Cap knelt to pray before battling.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. The only thing, okay, so I'm gonna throw this out there. By the way, I agree. Thor would win. But if in Kingdom Come, Captain Marvel can give Superman a run for his money, but Superman has beaten Thor in JLA Avengers, then
that Captain Marvel in Kingdom Come was a lot more sadistic, a lot more broken, crazier.
Right, meaner streak, yeah. In the voting system, 117 votes at the time of the recording. Thor got 75%. All right, Elektra versus Catwoman. Thoughts on that matchup?
I would have thought Elektra.
I would have thought Elektra too.
She did win, yes, right?
Yeah, she did. Yeah. I agreed.
Much more well-trained.
Exactly, Shane. That's what I was going to say. She's a trained assassin, and Catwoman is a cat burglar with some, skills. But I'm not surprised that Elektra won.
So what's the connection? Just that they were prime 90s Jim Ballant and who was, I think it also was Mike Deodato.
Deodato, yeah.
Yeah, just sex symbols for the companies.
Just pair of femmes fatale and former love interests of street vigilantes.
Yeah.
and fairly powerless each, just their abilities.
Yeah.
No superpowers to speak of.
I love that Elektra dumped her in basically some kitty litter, is what it looked like to me. So out of 118 votes, Elektra got 64%.
It's less than I would have thought.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Because in recent sort of years, Catwoman has been elevated to go up against like speedsters and, a whole bunch of other things. So.
Well, and Elektra is also has all kinds of like mystical things now. So she's also been elevated, I think.
Yeah. Aquaman versus Submariner.
My favorite battle.
I think the best written battle.
Well, Peter David had a certain vested interest in making Arthur look good.
Yeah.
They
were just throwing the barbs at each other. Just, two cocky underwater kings just, just laying it on each other. Aquaman wins in the outcome. So do we agree? Do we disagree?
I was okay with this one, with Aquaman winning.
Yeah, I was a little surprised about Namor not winning, because Namor is just, back from his origins, was just brutal. I'm just surprised he didn't win.
Yeah, sort of like Captain Marvel and Thor, where Adam said he was rooting for Captain Marvel, but he's not surprised, maybe Thor could win. I was rooting for Aquaman, but I can't disagree that Namor would probably win. I just think he's a little bit more ruthless.
I didn't necessarily have a a horse in this race, right? I don't know, but they do make a good point where Aquaman can control all the sea creatures, and Namor is just like so pompous. He's like, I'll do this all by myself, and Aquaman's like, haha, see, you got to think ahead, man. You got to be smart, pal. And that's where I think that maybe that's actually realistic, right? That Aquaman is never actually alone underwater.
And again, the goal was to just immobilize, and Aquaman did that with the rope that came out of his claw.
Namor had one of the best lines, though. He's like, how did you lose your hand? Patting yourself on the back. That's great. That's fantastic. Is Aquaman right? Is Namor too noble to cheat? I don't know if... Is that
I don't
right
think so.
Characterization? Yeah. I don't know.
Too haughty to cheat, maybe.
Maybe. Wanting to do it on his own, yeah.
It's like Brian says, he doesn't think he needs the extra help.
Yeah.
119 votes. Aquaman walks away with 59%.
Close one.
Yeah. Robin and Jubilee. Robin wins in the book. Do we agree? Tim Drake Robin beating Jubilee?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Robin trains with Batman.
That's what he said.
But I did like that their little subplot that they were a little bit more concerned about hanging out and making out than they were about doing what they were supposed to do.
And the art on that sequence was wonderful, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder who owns that.
I don't know.
123 votes. Robin walks away with 77%. All right. Flash and Quicksilver.
Flash. 1,000 times
Yeah, Flash.
Yeah.
What part of Fastest Man Alive could anyone not understand?
Right.
But what was it? Maybe 6 years prior, he had the same limitation to his speed as
That's true.
Quicksilver.
That's true. 121 votes. He walks away with 94% of the vote.
There you go.
Yeah.
Die-hard Marvel fans that voted for Quicksilver in that one.
Wolverine versus Lobo.
Biggest cop-out in the whole thing. Worse than like the big flash of energy and suddenly Silver Surfer is standing over Kyle Rayner. It's just the two of them go down behind the space bar, and then Wolverine just kind of stands up and smokes it. Because in terms of raw power, Lobo should have won. But by the rule of cool, Wolverine is an infinitely more popular character, so he won the vote.
Yes.
Lobo has slaughtered the populations of entire planets. And I think his healing factor is actually even stronger than Wolverine's because he can regrow himself from like a single drop of blood or something.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Good point, Adam.
So let's see, 137 votes. Wolverine walked away with 72%. And I think I'm in Adam's camp. I think Lobo should have won that, but Wolverine's popularity won out.
Totally agree with that.
All right, Superboy versus Spider-Man, Battle of the Clones. Spider-Man wins in the book.
This is tougher, right?
Yeah, this one's tougher.
Superboy's way stronger probably than Spider-Man.
And he's got that
right?
telekinesis thing going.
Well, that's the thing. This is 90s Superboy. Like, he hadn't come into his full Kryptonian power set yet. All he had were these, like, laboratory-developed synthetic stand-ins for Superman powers. He didn't have true super strength. He just had the tactile telekinesis, which simulated it.
All right, then Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Plus, Superboy's relative inexperience, too.
I kind of also took it as at that time, Ben Reilly, when he was cloned, he got all of Peter's abilities and knowledge and everything. And like Adam said, Superboy is very inexperienced here yet. So I kind of makes sense to me that Spider-Man would have won.
137 votes. Spider-Man walked away with 72%. Storm versus Wonder Woman. In the book, Storm wins. Thoughts, gentlemen?
I felt kind of offended by proxy, like for Diana's sake, because somebody writing this clearly thought that without a little outside help, Diana didn't even stand a chance against Aurora.
Yeah.
And so they had to, toss Thor's hammer at her. the contrivance of her having the hammer, and whether she chooses to put it down because she's too noble to cheat, even or exert an unfair advantage over an opponent, even for the sake of her whole universe. It
doesn't wash.
It's a characterization taking a back seat to the results of the voting, and I don't like the fact that she was given the hammer in the first place, and I also don't like the fact that her choosing to use it or throw it aside was just at the whim of the voters, because I think Wonder Woman's a warrior. I don't think she would have chosen to divest herself of that advantage, regardless when there's an entire universe at stake. Come on.
So, unlike the book, out of 137 votes, Wonder Woman pulled it out with 59%.
Okay, I think that's the first time that our voting listeners didn't side with the voters of 96.
Yeah.
And I agree. It's Wonder Woman. I love you, Storm. You are super popular in 95, 96, as all the X-Men are. But it's Wonder Woman. And I just don't see
there's no way.
that. Yeah. Batman versus Captain America. Batman wins on a technicality, I guess you could say, in the book, right?
Kinda, yeah.
Oh, this is the age-old question. Batman versus Captain America.
I mean, that feels like a no-brainer to me. It's like Batman would win. Batman has defeated Superman, right? Like, come on. He's not going to lose to Captain America. Also, I just don't give a shit about Captain America. That's not even a question.
I agree. I think Batman
I think it is a question, but I do agree that Batman would ultimately win out. It would just take him a while.
Exactly. Batman.
Both are great tacticians, but there's no way that Batman doesn't figure something out to win in the end.
157 votes. Batman walked away with 61%.
That's a lot closer than I would have thought.
Yeah.
All right, and then we come down to Hulk versus Superman. Superman winning in the comic. Agree or disagree?
Agree. Superman.
I agree with that.
Yes.
Yeah, he's Superman.
Yeah.
I'm shaking my head, but for the podcast people, yes, I agree.
Hulk may be the strongest one there is, but it often takes more than strength to win a fight.
Yeah.
153 votes. Superman won with 83%.
Good, healthy margin there.